Okay, after spending a month with Tracy exploring the Galapagos and the Sacred Valley in Peru, it was finally time to get underway again on the motorcycle from Quito. Working my way out of Quito, traffic was okay, but I was happy to hit the open road again. Riding south through Ecuador, you're just following the spine of the Andes. I had a couple of good days of riding, mixed weather. I made my way into Baños. It's a small town just south of Quito. It's just surrounded by mountains and waterfalls. This was my cool hostel, from which I could see waterfalls. Baños is a neat little town. It's very touristy. I got sick once. It might have been because of these. I don't know. Street art. All of Latin America I've seen revels in street art. One day I took a Chiva, which is an open-top bus, on a local tour. 4 or 5 hours, I think it was $8, along the cliffs. Several waterfalls. I saw some folks doing some zip lining and thought I'd give it a try myself. But just everywhere we went this day on this tour, it was just one set of waterfalls after the other. Including Cascada del Diablo, which is just a huge chute of water. It's probably 200 or 300 meters tall. Oh, so it's one of those days. I'm riding along the Pan American Highway in Ecuador. I've been cruising along right between 8,000 and 10,000 feet, which for this time of day and this day's weather means I'm riding in the clouds. And visibility now is not too bad, you know, maybe 100 yards, but I went through some sections where I literally had to slow down to 5 miles an hour. I couldn't see 20 feet in front of me. But it's a lot of twisty mountain roads. It's pretty fun, actually. There's not a lot of traffic today, which is good. And the traffic that there is, they're easy to get around. Pan American Highway, I am south of Baños, and I'm headed to Cuenca. I'm probably another hour and a half, 2 hours from Cuenca. Next, I made my way down to Cuenca. Another really cool Spanish colonial town. Amazing church. Biggest doors on a church I'd ever seen. And then back on the road south again. I had some really nice weather in the morning. The views were just spectacular. Amazing what you see in the road sometimes, and it's always around a corner. As the day went on, though, I started climbing up into the hills again, fog. Then I met Beat and Betty and David from Germany. Further I went south, the roads, it was just constant rain and lots of derumbes. You can see lots of rocks there in the road. This is me heading towards the border with Peru. Stopping yet again to wrap up and get dry. Seems I was riding in the rain there for days. This is the border with Peru. I'm just now leaving Peru, leaving Ecuador, entering Peru. And the rain, apparently they had been experiencing record rains, lots of flooding. And of course, lots of mud. I had to take a sidewalk detour because a pothole, at least 3 or 4 feet deep, was swallowing cars about a block back. The first town I made it into in Peru was Chiclayo. It's in northern Peru. And they too had been suffering from a lot of rain. I mean, the town was just flooded. People were working around the clock, I thought, just to clear water out of their personal spaces. Oh, and then leaving Chiclayo, the weather was just beautiful. You start to see the beginning of some deserty landscape. The next town was Chimbote, and in Chimbote it was probably the loudest place I've ever been. These cars had these taxis had this horn signal thing going on. Jeez, it was loud and annoying. In Chimbote I broke out the drone just to check out the sunset and a fishing fleet. Chimbote's a fishing town. Back on the road again, there is a motorcycle there in front of me. I met up with 2 guys, Mark and Don. We rode for a couple of days. But you see, we start getting further and further into the desert. It's a really cool combination, seeing the mountains on the left, the ocean on the right, and sort of the desert in the middle. Somewhere along the line, Don got a flat tire. In the middle of nowhere, except we were about 1 mile from a tire shop. And this guy had the tire off, tube patched, and back on in about 20 minutes. I think he charged us $4 or $5. We stopped along the side of the road, what looked like a restaurant, but I think it was a family. And we just said we're hungry, so they stopped what they were doing and fed us all. And all the kids wanted rides. I broke up with Mark and Don at this point, and I headed into Lima. I was going to stay in Lima, in Miraflores, which is a beautiful neighborhood of Lima. Very family-oriented. It's kind of foggy the day I was there. Leaving Miraflores was bittersweet. I really enjoyed staying there. It was very nice. As you head south out of Lima, though, it gets drier and drier and more desert-like because you're actually beginning to get to the Atacama Desert. Made my way down to Nazca, famous for the lines that have been around for a couple thousand years in the desert, and they're big. They're several hundred meters long, and they're very precise. But I hopped in an airplane, took an airplane tour. It's the best way to see all the good lines. But all of these shapes were believed to have been made about 2,000 years ago, including the astronaut, which still has scientists puzzled. They call it the astronaut. Whether it is or not, I don't know. There's the monkey and a hummingbird. Spider. Now these were not drawings like cut into the sand, but they're rocks that are stacked up, and they've survived time. It's pretty fascinating. Back on the road heading south again. I only had 2 more stops in Peru. All told, I think I rode across Peru in about 2 weeks. You have several sections where it's a nice twisty ride. Again, mountains on the left and the ocean on the right. Arequipa is yet another Spanish colonial town. I stayed here a couple of days with stomach problems, but I did get to walk around a little bit. This is an old monastery. Back on the road again and back into the desert, and it really is flat, and you can see the curve of the earth in every direction. I made it into Tacna, which is really a border town just to the north of Chile. Again, I think these rascals may have made me sick. Alright folks, that's it for this episode. Although it didn't seem like I spent a lot of time riding through Peru and Ecuador. Taken together with last episode with Tracy for over a month, and in the Galapagos and the Sacred Valley of Peru, I ended up spending a good month and a half, 7 weeks here in Peru and Ecuador, and pretty cool. It's pretty amazing. Ecuador and Peru are very different places. Probably as unique a pair of countries side by side as I've seen on my whole trip. But I'm filming this part right here, talking to you now, in Puerto Montt, Chile. I've only got about 1,000 miles to go to Ushuaia, and I'm pretty stoked about that. But again, thanks for following along. I appreciate all the comments and the feedback, and see you next time from Ushuaia.